Southwest Florida's #1 primetime newscast. Fox 4 News at 10.
4 in your corner following breaking news out of Tampa tonight as the FBI has confirmed to Fox 4 Edley Atherley, the Port Charlotte man wanted for his wife's murder in California, has turned himself in. Authorities had been looking for Atherley since November of last year after they say he allegedly murdered his wife, Ashley Atherley, in San Bernardino, California. The couple had been living there at the time. FBI officials tell us Atherley turned himself in around 3:15 today and was then booked into a Hillsborough County jail. They say he'll remain there until authorities from San Bernardino travel to Tampa and extradite him back to California. They have 10 days to do so. Once Atherley returns, he is expected to be charged with first-degree murder and unlawful flight to avoid prosecution. Meanwhile, Ashley Atherley's mother, Lucia Robles, releasing this statement to Fox 4 saying, quote, "We were concerned to learn that Edley was in Tampa and within such close physical proximity to many family members while he was running from law enforcement and crossing the country. We are relieved to know that he is now in custody and that he cannot harm anyone else. Our prayer is that the judicial process will unfold in a timely and just manner so that Ashley's death will be properly recorded as a domestic violence murder and our family can experience justice for the loss of Ashley's beautiful and productive life." 4 in your corner also following breaking news on an issue we have been fighting for you for months: unemployment benefits. The U.S. Department of Labor has given the Florida Department of Economic Opportunity permission to temporarily give delayed unemployment benefits to thousands of you. 4 in your corner has worked tirelessly and relentlessly for months, taking your concerns to legislators as the state's new $63 million website made it nearly impossible for some of you to get your money. In the last 3 months, John Gauntz has been evicted.
Management companies don't want to hear no excuses.
In the last 3 months, Ricky Lubke has lost his life savings.
Falling behind on all my bills, my savings account has been wiped out.
And in the last 3 months, Ricky Freeman.
I know the money is there, but I just don't know what's the holdup.
Tim Fulcher.
It's just like you're hitting your head up against the wall.
And Marissa Hale are out hundreds of dollars.
It's not fair because everybody in the governor's office, everybody at unemployment, they're eating good at night. They're sleeping well. They're not worried about bills.
There are thousands of others, too, after the state launched a new $63 million unemployment website that left many with long wait times, disqualified notices, locked accounts, and no one to talk to. We've pressed the governor.
Hundreds of thousands of claims that have worked, so they continue to fix it, so it's headed in the right direction.
But for those who haven't, though, it's been a big issue for them.
Well, but we also have the call center. You can call in, but the truth is hundreds of thousands of claims have worked.
And now, after fighting day in and day out for answers for you, it appears relief is on the way. Friday, a team from the U.S. Department of Labor arrived in Tallahassee, and now a day later, the state announced payments will be issued for those waiting these last 3 months. Senator Bill Nelson, who's made 2 requests for a federal investigation, released this statement saying, "The Secretary of Labor promised me that he would send his folks to Florida to fix the mess the state has made of its unemployment benefit system. And it seems he's doing exactly that." Now, it is important to note that the delayed funds are only going out to those people whose accounts are in adjudication or on hold for more than 7 days. Because of all of the problems, the state has withheld millions from the firm that built the site, Deloitte Consulting. The DEO has also hired a second vendor to help Deloitte get the website up and running. Shifting gears now, freeze warnings in effect for a couple of counties in Southwest Florida tonight as we expect to see some of the coldest weather of the year. Let's send it on over to Storm Patrol's Liza Fernandez, who's showing us how long the cold weather is going to stick around. Liza?
Well, it is going to be a cold one tonight and a freeze warning in effect for all of Southwest Florida except for Lee County. Let's take a look again at those temperatures, and many of us already down into the mid and upper 40s. Milder for the islands, Captiva holding on to 51, Sanibel 50, Marco already down to 49, Naples 52. Most of us inland, though, seeing those mid and upper 40s. Now, as we take a look at those weather headlines, and this is how low temperatures are going to get between the upper 20s for some of our coldest spots inland and north, like DeSoto County, for example, to the mid 40s for our mildest spots by the coast. Again, that freeze warning in effect for all of Southwest Florida except for Lee County and for coastal Collier County. Other than that, there is going to be Another cold shot and then another headed our way throughout the week. Power 4 Storm Patrol Viper radar sweeping clear after a cold front pushed through, and the weather pattern that we are experiencing right now across the country helping to keep cold shots of air moving our way. We'll talk more about that during my next full weather update. Kelly, take it away.
A critical message out of a popular park in Bonita Springs today as authorities warn the community about a rise in human trafficking and what it means for all of us moving forward. 4 in Your Corner's Carl Fortier was there and is showing us how local agencies are bringing attention to modern slavery.
January is Human Trafficking Awareness Month, and organizers of the event Slave Free Southwest Florida hope that by creating a fun and relaxed atmosphere for the community, more and more people will realize just how widespread human trafficking is and that it's happening right in our community.
Free food, games, raffled prizes, and face painting. But along with the festival atmosphere at Riverside Park in Bonita Springs, there's an important message.
We brought this to the community to get everyone, family, kids, everyone to understand what human trafficking is, for them to be able to recognize and maybe even identify it.
Yarrow Garcia says that events like this are needed in our area because while slavery is a worldwide problem, Southwest Florida is far from immune.
Our state is the #3 state with this issue right now, and our community is one of the target areas for this problem.
The Lee County Sheriff's Office was on hand to help provide outreach to potential victims. They say they're always actively investigating these crimes.
It's a team effort. Everybody's got to work together on this to combat this particular disease.
Elizabeth Donovan directs the Human Trafficking Awareness Law Clinic at Ave Maria. She hopes events like Slave Free Southwest Florida will help more people understand that while slavery was legally abolished over 200 years ago, that didn't necessarily stop it.
Human trafficking is very prevalent here in Florida, both labor trafficking and sex trafficking. Despite the fact that trafficking is happening right here in Southwest Florida, if you walk up to someone on the street and ask them, is slavery still alive in the United States today, most people will say no.
And she hopes by raising awareness, more and more cases of labor and sex trafficking will be reported.
And the goal is to rescue more people and then provide them with the services they need.
Human trafficking is a disease that's been spreading throughout the world, and that's something that needs to be stopped.
Slave Free Southwest Florida was the first annual event of its kind in Bonita Springs. Now, if you suspect a human trafficking situation in your community, you're asked to call the National Human Trafficking Hotline at 1-800-373-7888 or your local sheriff's office. Carl Fortier, Fox 4 in your corner.
The man suspected of killing his ex-wife, a Cape Coral teacher, has officially been charged in Southwest Florida. Daniel Proctor made his first appearance in a Lee County courtroom today. He was booked into the Lee County jail yesterday after being brought back from Alabama. He was serving a sentence there, a life sentence for stealing a truck and a handgun. His wife, Amy Patterson, was reported missing in July of 2011 after she didn't show up for the first day of school. Investigators later found Patterson's body about 1.5 miles from her home on Pine Island. Tonight, Lee County deputies need your help finding a gunman who robbed the Fort Myers Travel Plaza early this morning. Take a look at these surveillance photos. Deputies say around 5 a.m. the gunman entered the store in the 6000 block of Plaza Drive. He demanded cash and then took off. Deputies say he left in a silver 4-door sedan. He's described as possibly in his 20s, about 6 feet tall. If you recognize a suspect or know anything about this robbery, call the Lee County Sheriff's Office, 239-477-1000, or Crime Stoppers, 1-800-780-TIPS.
The message that we're hoping to send is that people need to be aware of how pervasive the bullying problem is and that it needs to stop.
Southwest Florida Congressman Heather Fitzenhagen pushing for a new bill that would make bullying illegal in Florida. This after the recent suicide of a 12-year-old Tampa girl. Fitzenhagen was joined by the mother of that girl, Rebecca Sedgwick, who was repeatedly bullied at school and online until she took her own life. The proposal would make bullying a first-degree misdemeanor and warrant community service or time in juvenile detention.
It is continuing to raise awareness about bullying. So the more awareness we have, they may not know the specific law, but they will be aware that it is wrong, it is a crime, and there will be a consequence.
The law, if passed, would also make bullying a third-degree felony if police find evidence there was a credible threat involved. 2 former classmates of Sedgwick's were charged with aggravated stalking in connection with her bullying, but those charges were later dropped. Now we want to hear from you. Should bullying officially become illegal in Florida and warrant its own charges? Or is being charged with aggravated stalking or similar crimes enough? Call us 239-206-FOX4 or email us news@fox4now.com. Florida Governor Rick Scott wants the state's annual back-to-school tax holiday to last just a bit longer and cover more expensive items. Scott announcing he's going to ask legislators to extend the sales tax holiday, good news for you, from 3 days to 10. The governor also wants to increase the amount of clothing items that can be bought tax-free. Last year, clothes costing $75 or less were exempt. Well, Scott would like to increase that to $100. He also wants computers to be bought tax-free again this year. Imagine moving to Mars and never seeing your family again. That is the dream of one Cape Coral woman, and now she is closer than ever to seeing that dream happen. We'll tell you how. Plus, making money off of murder. It's how one man makes his living. Now he has his sights set on a high-profile Florida case, and you may not believe the kind of money he's hoping for. But first, Scott versus Crist. We know the battle to the governor's mansion is going to be an interesting one coming up, but it is now getting notoriety across the U.S. The distinction political experts are now giving the race.
All right, we are getting ready for one cold night across Southwest Florida. Many of us already down into the mid and upper 40s. Freeze warnings in effect. I'll tell you all about it and just how low we'll go also when we return.